Hey there friends, today I am going to play some Sims 4, and since I have a story planned and everything, I thought why not share it with YouTube, maybe someone else finds it amusing. To give you a gist of the whole thing, this is not Sims lore, this is my own headcanon, so to say. I haven't prepared that much, so the city looks pretty much like every other Sim city would. The one thing I have prepared is this farm over here. I'm coming back to that in a second. To give you an idea of the lore, away from the Sims country there is another realm, which is still a monarchy, called Caranthia. It's an empire. They are currently at war, and the war isn't that pleasant for the citizens there. To put it mildly, there is a lot of war crimes going on. Our main protagonist is gonna be Rosalia over here. She used to be a farmhand in her village named Kürbisdorf. Now she is a refugee. She knows that she can't return to her village. She knows for a fact that her parents are, well, have perished, so to say. And the only hope that she has is that her little brother has somehow survived the whole ordeal. She has come to this village alone, she was forced to flee, and she is looking for work and a place to stay. She doesn't have much to her name, only 500 simoleons, and so it has been very difficult for her to find a house, a family, or a workplace, since the people of the village seem to be rather isolated. The only place who seems to the only people who seem to have a place for her lived up the mountain in this mansion. The mansion is called, well, it belongs to the house von Feuchtenberg, and it seems to be a stigma around the house that they are very isolated people. The past few years, the only thing that people could see from the owner was his butler, who would occasionally come to the city and buy supplies and other things, sell stuff made from farming, sell animal products. And now that man seems to have disappeared, the butler, and Rosalia, who saw in this opportunity for a job, immediately applied, and she walked up the mountain, she went to the door, she knocked, and through a very, very weird conversation, through a locked door, she came to understand that she may live barn area, where there seems to be a small, cozy room, not the best, but also not the worst, as long as she helps with everything that the last butler essentially did, like farm work, taking care of the animals. There is a llama, 8 chickens, and of course a horse, a white, beautiful one. And let's see if Rosalia can live on, if she can prove herself to the owner, and maybe one day he will show himself to her. The goal of her playthrough, so to say, is to always gather enough money to pay the taxes that we need to pay for the rent for the building. It is gonna be really high because it is a massive building. But if we sell enough eggs and wool, warning here, I'm not much too familiar with the animal DLC, not the animal DLC, the barn and farm DLC, the ranch DLC. So if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm sorry, but I'm here to play a game, so it has to be fun. So, now we have Rosalia out of the way. Let's get to the second living member, whose name is Redan von Feuchtenberg, who's 500 years old and obviously a vampire. Redan is the kind of vampire that doesn't enjoy hurting others while drinking their blood. He has great remorse every time he does that. He's also very sensitive to the sun, so he almost never leaves his house. The only person he can feast on would be the caregiver to his animals, and sadly for Rosalia, that would be her. He will occasionally come out and, well, drink from Rosalia. Though throughout the game, I will have this story dynamic that they will grow a bond, since they will interact more and more, and every time that Redan comes and drinks, he will have great pain to his consciousness, so he will try to redeem himself in a way. He is skilled in most of everything, since he has been in this world for 500 years. He has been training, learning, and sometimes to just make up for the damage done, he comes over and brings presents without being noticed. So he will come and place a painting for Rosalia. She is probably going to sell that so that she can pay the rent. It is a weird dynamic. One of them doesn't even understand that they need money because he has so much of it but never leaves his house. He wouldn't even care if they shut down the electricity or anything. The other one lives beside a castle and doesn't have a dime to her name. So this is gonna be the story. Well, I would say let's get into it and let's take a look from the inside. So let's take a look at the garden, where we are going to play most of the time. And as we come in, we can immediately see there is a little bit of a water situation going on here. Then there is some decorations that I tried to make look as, well, dark fantasy gothic as I could. A small garden for planting, which is gonna be very useful for Rosalia to make some money. Then there is Pegasus, who is a rescue horse that stays here. There is a cute white llama and about 8 black chicken. There is a beekeeping area, a small barn for the horse who needs to be fed, um, a graveyard. I wonder to whom that belongs. Well, it is only one grave. And then there is the living area for Rosalia that is pretty much a mixture of, well, expensive things that maybe belonged to the butler beforehand, and not so expensive things because this is supposed to be more of a barn than a room. Like if you go inside and take a look, like the walls are made out of good wood, but they are slowly but surely falling apart. There are spider webs, there are small haystacks. That's just, well, this area used to be where the hay was kept for the horse, but now it is mostly, with the sleeping bag, an area where Rosalia can live in comfort, one might say. There is a small fridge, some cabinets, a stove. There is a beautiful wooden bathtub and a toilet. So, yeah, sadly, there aren't enough things so you can look something, so you can make something look medieval. I can get some mods probably, but I worked with the things that Sims with its DLCs has to offer, and I believe it's not a medieval aesthetic, but it is an aesthetic that suits this playthrough because, like the building itself, Redan is also a mixture between modern and medieval time. So the building isn't supposed to be um this like artifact. It's supposed to be a mishmash, and I think it worked out pretty well. Well, as far as I am concerned. And then you can come here, and there is a path that leads into the building where you're greeted by an ancestor of all the vampires. Well, I don't know if this is actual Sims lore. I just thought it makes sense. And about 4 nights, one of them is a different color. Maybe I changed that. Then you go up, and there is another one of this like, oh, there's a lot of them that have different colors. Yeah, could have sworn I just copied pasted them and the wall. Wow. Yeah, it's a work in progress. Maybe when I do the playthrough, when I start the first play session, I have fixed all of this build then. This is the main living area. Back in the day, a long time ago, our friend Redan used to host a lot of exquisite banquets here. The table is still from that age, the chairs as well. Though these days he mostly spends his time in solitude at the fireplace, warming himself to fires that don't really work on him, and reads books, plays music, or in his sleeping room he spends his time painting or making gems or playing chess. There is also a little door here that allows him to go visit Roselia. These days, this door will be locked until we have reached a substantial goal in the playthrough where I think, okay, now can they can have a connection. Then the door will be opened. For now, this will remain locked. Even the main door is locked. As I said, he is very secluded. He will not leave the building. I don't know where you come from. But why are you alone? Because I have seen gnomes marching into the buildings, but I have not seen them be alone. Mostly they have a group with them. I can see them. Well, whatever. Then there is the kitchen area, just a regular kitchen. This used to be used by his butler, not anymore, sadly. Uh, and of course, the toilet. Nothing too uh, extraordinary, nothing too expensive. Well, but the $5,000 toilet. The goal was mostly to have this like luxurious vibe with like black tiled grounds and golden walls, just like this. Maybe not medieval, not even much farther into, um, much more closer to our history, like this Renaissance castle, this idea of what the kings used to live like, and what probably most rich people would live like if they had castles. Like I've seen maybe in some Turkish series that there are buildings like this, and yeah, there is also like one more door that leads into this place. And at first I was like, maybe I should have like something ominous, something scary down there, but then I was like, nah, he doesn't look much like a scary dude. I don't think he is much of a scary dude. So I was like, why not have a dance floor where you can just groove, have a good time. Maybe this used to be the hitter when he still had guests. They would come here, he would play the org, and they would dance. Like, imagine dancing to this instrument. I have only seen this instrument in church, and I don't think anyone does any dancing there. And then there are these, which looks weird when you don't have the walls on, looks even more weird when you have them on. But the idea is that once he has a few paintings, I'm gonna have a little gallery here where I'm just gonna hang his best paintings. So the best things that he draws. Maybe if things go well, someday Roselius paintings are gonna be hung here. Let's see. And I believe that would be everything, right? Yes. So anyway, this is the build. The this is the lore that I have prepared. And yeah, I'm gonna start playing this, and I hope to have someone along for the ride. Until next time, have a good day, and we will see each other.